It's no secret among my friends that I absolutely love Reverb. So when Befaco offered to send their spring Reverb module over, how could I possibly say no? You can get this assembled or as a kit. I got a kit. The module itself came together really easily. It's typical Befaco stuff, really good instructions, nicely laid out, reasonably dense, but if you've soldered stuff together before, you'll be fine. I think it took me about 4 hours in total. When you open the spring Reverb, you'll find that not only does it come with a reverb tank, it also comes with an RCA cable for connecting it to the back. You can see I've got a 1 HP gap here I'm using to have the cable around. On the front panel we have a dry-wet control, level for input 1, level for input 2, a high-pass filter for what's going into the tank, inputs 1 and 2 here, a level meter which will show if you're clipping what's going into the tank, mix output, mix CV control for here, and an output of just the wet signal. We also have CV input for this level. When you've got something patched in here, this becomes an attenuator. Same on this side. This VU meter here is level of what's going on in the spring tank. Let's make some noises, shall we? Mix output, straight to my interface. I have some spoken word samples from radio music.
Yeah, Feltham. There was once a ruler, Cyrene's governor, choked with his own paunch, which death Sanctius, king of Castile, fearing through his infinite mass of belly, rather chose to be killed.
There you go, you can see there's some signal going into the spring tank.
Taken to make him lean.
A little bit of green there, some
King of Morocco
fine level-wise.
Then he would hazard to be stunk to death, as that huge cormorant that was choked before him. We commend rather, of two extremes, the parsimony of Pertinax, who had half lettuces set up to serve again, or his successor, Julian, that would make 3 meals of a lean hare, and often sup with a green fig and wipe his...
Fully wet.
The older ways of excess in those days complained there was more coin bid for a foot than for a warhorse, but now comfort of her...
To recall some of the mental habits of the... No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century that this world was being watched keenly and closely by the intelligences greater than man's and yet as mortal his own. That as men busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied, perhaps always...
Straight the high-pass filter.
Microscope might scrutinize the transient creatures that swore and multiply a drop of water.
Near chopping out all the low end and making that lovely spring clanky thing.
It is possible that the infusoria under the microscope do the same. No one gave a thought to the older worlds of space as sources of human danger, or thought of them only to dismiss the...
10 points if you recognise this, obviously.
Possible or improbable. It is curious to recall some of the mental habits.
Let's put rings in it, because we all love a bit of rings. See, I'm getting more signal here. High pass filter again. See, we're getting too much level in the spring tank right up the top. Saturating. A little bit of clipping sometimes on this LED. Let's get a synth voice in there. Here we go. Level into the spring tank. Filter out. Let's use the wet output back into input 2 to add some feedback to this reverb. So to add feedback, we're just going to raise this level here. So if we take it out and I use one pulse of the envelope controlling the filter, it's rampage, so I can do this manually. Let's increase the level here. Here it's just on the edge of feeding back. Lovely. So you can make a much longer reverb tail like this. Play around with that. Of course, now we're getting into one of the other reasons Spring Reverb is such a great complement for modular synthesis. I have a physical spring tank next to me. I can attack it. This will be fun. Fully wet. That's running a nail down one of the springs. Let's sort of pluck one like a guitar string, shall we? If I hit the tank, tones that almost sound like an instrument string. Sounds car plus strongy kinda. Ooh. That's the springs clattering together. Now, what I'm gonna do next is patch the wet output through this filter here. Go away, synth voice, no one wants you. Fully wet, all the level, all the resonance. Here we go. Is demon summoning material. Sound design tool. I don't have 3 hands, but let's hit the springs a bit while we're doing it. Fantastic fun. So, using an envelope and a filter, I've made a little tom-like sound. With percussion, you always get to hear that definitive spring reverb sound. Just sounds like a spring. Fantastic. Let's borrow rings again and play around with the control voltage inputs. So the mix CV. Let's put some CV into here. That will control our feedback for us. Let's use some CV to control our feedback. This is an attenuator now, remember. I'm using Batumi for my LFOs in divide mode, so they're all tempo locked at the moment. Let's put it in free and see what weird noises we can make. What a blast. A massive thank you to Befaco for sending me this wonderful module. Big thank you to you for watching. See you next time.